Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're tackling a massive challenge that thousands of us face every single semester, and that's surviving and, honestly, hopefully thriving in online college classes. We are going to build a completely free, highly practical AI system designed specifically to conquer the unique hurdles of digital learning. So if you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by an online course, you're in exactly the right place. Let's get to it.
If you've taken an online class before, this scenario is probably going to hit a little too close to home. Think back to week 1. You're completely on top of everything, right? You've got this beautiful color-coded schedule, you're watching lectures the exact day they drop, you feel literally unstoppable. But then, well, the inevitable gradual drift kicks in. By week 7, you've somehow got 3 unwatched lectures stacking up, an assignment you totally forgot about, and you're suddenly trying to watch a super complex lecture at 1.5x speed while also trying to make dinner. We've all been there. But listen, the real villain here isn't the material itself, and it's definitely not your work ethic. It's simply the complete lack of physical classroom structure.
To fix that, we need a highly organized, systematic approach. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the accountability fix, then move into mastering lectures, decoding assignments, catching the drift, building your own AI study group, and finally, we'll wrap the whole shebang up into the weekly AI system.
Let's jump right into our first core problem. Section 1, the accountability fix.
You see, in a traditional physical classroom, there is passive accountability literally everywhere you look. Your professor looks you in the eye and instantly knows if you're confused. Your classmates casually remind you that, hey, the midterm is next Tuesday. There's this built-in social pressure to simply show up and be present. But online, all of those physical cues just vanish. You can disappear for 2 straight weeks and nobody even notices until your final grade takes a nosedive. Now, AI can't magically grant you sudden self-discipline, obviously, but what it absolutely can do is artificially replace that passive accountability structure you lose the second you leave a physical campus.
To build that structure, we have to start at the very beginning of the semester. So the crucial point is that you can use ChatGPT to generate a completely personalized roadmap before you even click play on your very first lecture. By telling the AI exactly what courses you're taking and pasting in your syllabus details, your deadlines, the types of assessments, you're feeding it the raw data of your semester. When you prompt it to build a week-by-week study schedule, ask it to flag the really intense weeks, and give you a daily minimum task, you instantly eliminate the stress of planning. It's basically a game changer. Now, once you have that brilliant roadmap, you've got to put it somewhere actionable. So step 1 is generating the plan in ChatGPT. Step 2 is pasting that directly into a tool like Notion, which, by the way, has a fantastic free tier, and turning it into a live interactive daily checklist. Why do we do this? Well, because having a simple daily minimum task is absolutely the single best habit for staying ahead. Every single morning, you open it up and you know the exact tiny step you need to take just to keep that momentum going.
That brings us right to Section 2, mastering lectures. Let's face the agonizing reality of online learning for a second. Watching recorded lectures completely by yourself is tough. It is genuinely so hard to absorb a 2-hour video at 1.5x speed when you're just sitting alone in your bedroom. Because nobody is watching you, it becomes way too easy to just passively listen. You check your phone, you open another tab, or you just completely zone out. Make no mistake, passive listening is the absolute enemy of retention. We really need to actively process these lectures instead of just passively letting them wash over us. So here's a brilliant 2-step workflow to do exactly that. First, auto-transcribe the lecture using a tool like Otter.ai. They've got a great free plan that lets you grab the text of everything being said. Second, take that raw text and extract the core concepts using an AI like Google's NotebookLM or Claude. Suddenly, you're no longer just a viewer. You're using the lecture as raw material to actually mine for knowledge. And this brilliantly illustrates how we actually mine that knowledge. You drop the transcript into your AI and use this exact extraction prompt. You're asking it to identify the 5 most important concepts, provide a plain English summary for each, and even generate a potential exam question the professor might ask. Think about that for a second. You literally transform a sprawling, exhausting 2-hour video into 5 highly digestible concepts and practice questions in, 10 minutes? You still need to watch the lecture for the visual context for sure, but now you have an active processing system so the information actually sticks in your brain.
Moving right along to Section 3, decoding assignments.
This third major hurdle is what we like to call the assignment trap.
In a physical classroom, a professor hands out a prompt, they explain their expectations out loud, and you can just raise your hand to ask a question if you're confused. But online, you're essentially operating in a vacuum. You get a vaguely worded PDF rubric, there's no professor in the room to clarify anything, and you've got a massive deadline looming in 5 days. It's incredibly frustrating to just stare at your screen, totally unsure of what the assignment is actually asking you to do.
But here's the thing, AI is incredibly good at translating dense academic jargon into clear, actionable instructions. Before you even write a single word, paste your assignment and the rubric right into Claude, and use this prompt. Ask it to break down exactly what the assignment wants, what a top-grade response looks like, and crucially, what the 3 most common mistakes are. This completely decodes the academic speak, so you know exactly what your professor is actually looking for. It finally gives you a clear target to aim at.
And the magic really doesn't stop at the planning phase. Once you have a rough draft, you just paste it right back into the AI with this follow-up prompt. You ask it to compare your draft against that original rubric and clearly identify what's missing, what's weak, and what specific tweaks would push your paper from a B up to an A. You can seriously think of this as the ultimate cheat code. It closes the gap between your current draft and your professor's expectations long before you ever hit the submit button.
All right, let's tackle Section 4, catching the drift.
Falling behind in an online class rarely happens all at once, right? It happens slowly, almost invisibly, without any single moment of realization. Now, what's really fascinating here is the massive difference in feedback loops. In person, you literally see your classmates turning pages ahead of you, or maybe the professor mentions last week's reading that you totally skipped. You immediately know you're behind. But online drift? It's an invisible danger. Because there's no physical feedback loop, you can genuinely feel like you were perfectly caught up, when in reality, you're 3 entire weeks behind on the reading. To combat this invisible drift, we are going to institute a Sunday weekly audit. You open up ChatGPT and you run this exact prompt. You basically list out what you plan to do versus what you actually completed, and then you ask it for a realistic 4-day catch-up plan that absolutely does not sacrifice next week's work. This is so incredibly powerful because it forces you to confront the reality of your schedule without spiraling into a panic. It just gives you a highly tactical, completely achievable path to get back on track before a minor little slip turns into a full-blown midterm crisis.
Next up is Section 5, the AI Study Group, because honestly, you should never have to study alone.
We really need to talk about the sheer, overwhelming isolation of online learning. When you are totally stuck on a complex concept at midnight, where do you go? You check the course discussion board, and it's literally just tumbleweeds. Nobody has posted in weeks, so you send an earnest email to your professor only to get an auto-reply telling you to expect a response in 3 to 5 business days. It's incredibly lonely, and it completely halts your momentum when you're trying to learn.
Well, you don't have to study alone anymore. You can completely turn AI into an infinitely patient midnight study partner by using active recall. By telling the AI to quiz you just one question at a time, wait for your actual answer, and then provide immediate constructive feedback, you are forcing active engagement. The AI isn't just going to hand you the answers, it thinks alongside you. It corrects your misunderstandings in real time, effectively replicating the absolute best parts of a live study group whenever and wherever you happen to need it.
And finally, Section 6, the weekly AI system. Let's pull all of this together.
Let's move to a zoomed-out view and see how this builds into one cohesive, macro-level strategy. This is exactly where all of these isolated little solutions come together into one seriously powerful routine. On Monday, you do a quick 2-minute schedule check in Notion. Daily, you're actively processing your lectures with Otter and NotebookLM so nothing piles up on you. Whenever an assignment lands, you immediately decode the rubric and check your drafts. By Thursday or Friday, you're running a quick AI study session to clear up any lingering confusion. And on Sunday, you do your 10-minute weekly audit to catch any of that sneaky drift. And the absolute best part, every single tool in this entire system is completely free to start using right now.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. What is the absolutely hardest part of online classes for you? Is it finding the motivation, staring at vague assignments, sitting through those passive lectures? Whatever it happens to be, please know you don't have to overhaul your entire life today. Just pick one single prompt from today's explainer. Try it out this week. Just see how it transforms the way you approach your screen. AI is here to give you back the structure you deserve. Thanks so much for exploring this system with me today. Keep pushing forward, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.